Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and I was always told I had a voice for radio, so today it's time to talk about another new GX. It's Tapu Koko GX. Now, he is a lightning type, which means he can hit for weakness against things like Yveltal and Shaymin and Lugia and Rayquaza. It also means that he can use both Rough Seas to heal 30 damage per turn, or use the recently announced Ether Paradise Conservation Area, on which I did a video recently, to reduce damage done to him by 30. If you want to know which one of those is better, I did do a video about Ether Paradise Conservation Area, so go click the link in the description. I'll give you way more detail in there than I could give you here. He is a basic, which means you can use Max Elixir to accelerate the energy, and if we look at the attack cost, both of which are 2 lightning and 1 colourless, Max Elixir could be very handy here because we are not playing double colourless energy, although you could use Electrode here. Just knock him out, give your opponent a prize, unfortunately, but then attach him to Tapu Koko as 2 lightning energy, you know, for the rest of the game, although things like Enhanced Hammer will discard it and make you very sad indeed. The fact that he is a basic also means he can use Fighting Fury Belt to give him a bit more HP and do a little bit extra damage. But of course, Choice Band, which will be coming out in the same Guardians Rising set, allows all these Pokemon, by which I mean all Pokemon, to do an extra 30 damage to EXs and GXs, and that might be a better option depending on the kind of deck you're going to be making. And of course, I should probably point out that Tapu Koko has no weakness. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, just like Tapu Bulu, just like Tapu Lele, no weakness here, no weakness to fighting. It doesn't make sense given that in the video game he does have weaknesses, but that's completely irrelevant. There is no weakness on this card. So although Tapu Fini's yet to be announced or revealed or spoiled, I'm willing to bet it's coming in this set and it will have no weakness. So, they are the basics and there is an awful lot to like already. So let's go for the ability here. The ability says, once during your turn, before you attack, when you play this card from your hand onto your bench, you may move any lightning energy attached to your Pokemon to this Pokemon. Now, don't forget that Electrode, once it's attached, will count as lightning energy, so you will be able to move those Electrode over, and I suppose you could move Flash Energy as well, but given that Flash Energy stops weakness and Tapu Koko has no weakness, that would arguably be a little bit silly. This should remind you of the Dragonite EX, which had a very similar thing. Dragonite was any basic energy, this is just lightning, but it's still a useful ability. It means that if you've got energy from around all of your Pokemon, and you don't have anyone you can really attack with, pop Tapu Koko down, move all the energy over, and off you go. But it also combos quite well with Max Potion. You've got a Tapu Koko about to be KO'd, so you move all the energy onto Tapu Koko, switch him into the active, and you do have to switch if you move any energy, and then you'll have a damaged Tapu Koko on the bench with no energy attached, so using Max Potion to heal him at that point would seem fairly convenient. Now, this basically just allows for surprise attacks, and it is quite nice, but of course, we've got to have some good attacks to use. Before we get on to the attacks, I should mention this is an ability and it is on a basic, so Garbodor, Hex Maniac, Silent Lab, even Alolan Muck, when people start playing that, all will turn off this ability here, so it's not without its problems, but it's still a really good ability. And there's nothing to stop you just playing him down on the bench and using cards like Max Elixir and Electrode to build him up. I mean, if you really want, and I'm only going to mention this very quickly, you could even use Magnezone's ability to power up Tapu Koko. Lightning Pokemon, especially basic ones at the moment, are not wanting for ways to accelerate energy. So, with that out of the way, first attack, 130 damage, lightning, colourless. Very standard. And we're seeing this with a lot of cards lately. If they're weak, it's going to be a 1-hit KO. If they're not, it's going to be a 2-hit KO. 260 will KO even the hardiest of lightning weak Pokemon like Mega Rayquaza or Yveltal EX with a Fighting Fury Belt. And 130 will KO some Stage 2s, but it won't even KO all Stage 2s out there, so it's not ideal. But this is the thing nowadays, and if you can be tanking here using Fighting Fury Belt and Ether Paradise Conservation Area, if you can be healing using the ability and Max Potion, then taking 2-hit KOs really is not a bad thing. And then we get the GX attack. I like the GX attack, ladies and gentlemen. What you can do here is 50 damage for every energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon. Now, this is kind of like Gumshoe GX's attack, but much, much better. Now, most of the time we're going to be wanting to hit 200, 250 to get 1-hit KOs. How often will your opponent have 4 or 5 energy attached to their active to get the KO with Gumshoes? Not very often. How often will they have 5 energy attached to all of their Pokemon combined to get the 1-hit KO with Tapu Koko? The answer is pretty gosh darned often. It is like so many of these GX attacks. At one point during the game, it's going to allow you to get just a cheeky 1-hit KO on something of your choice. And that's good. So, we've got no weakness, we've got some tanking ability, we've got potential use of Max Potion with a really nice ability, a fairly standard but still pretty good attack, a very nice GX attack, and let's not forget that between Electrode, Max Elixir, Magnezone, etc., quite a few options for building him up very, very quickly indeed. So I am going to have to give him 4 Wossies. He's no Tapu Lele, ladies and gentlemen. There's a reason that video was done first. But let's make no mistake about this. He's got decent attacks, and he's very, very tanky. He's quite similar to Tapu Bulu in that respect. Good attacks, but not absolutely stunning. But all the advantages of being a basic. He's easy to accelerate energy, and, you know, tanky basic, good attacks. 4 Wossies seems about fair. Now you know the deal, ladies and gentlemen. There is a comment section. Go nuts. Be nice. There are buttons to both like this video and subscribe to this channel. I would be very delighted if you would use them both. You can follow me on Twitter @TheWossie, and the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.